Namhlanje sizobe sibhekene nomkhakha wezenzakalo nemibukiso. Sivakashela e-Israel ukuyohlangana nomphathi we-ezamazwe Events and Exhibition Management.
Looked at him and then he's young, vibrant, of which that's what we need.
I can give up.
Siphinde siye e-Parkes ukuyothetha isikhathi ema-ofisini we-Ellen Multimedia.
The biggest highlights I think is our previous event where we sold out.
Masithi sold out sidayisa amathikiti amangaki bafowethu?
1,002. The first one to be sold out.
Labo somabhizinisi bazobe bevakashele e-studio ukuzothola imbono yokukhulisa izinkampani zabo.
When it comes to the financial side of the business, there's nothing in place.
Who's managing the money?
Ngokusho kwemicwaningo yaka-Dr. Joe Goldblatt, ukusetshenziswa kwemali yezenzakalo mhlaba jikelele kungaphezu kwamabhiliyoni awu-500 asetshenziswa njalo ngonyaka. Lokhu kusho ukuthi indawo yemakethe yande ngendlela yokwazi ukwesekela amabhizinisi amancane namakhulu asebenzela kuwo lo mkhakha.
As young people, we want to network.
Because most of the time, we just take an event as something that
Young people are more for fun stuff, for more jolly stuff and not serious stuff.
Kwiminyaka embala edlule, i-average yenzalo yosomabhizinisi abahlela izenzakalo yayihambela ku-15%.
I think events business in SA is actually promising.
I think social events make more money than corporate events.
Yes, entertainment seminars are a bit more interesting. I think it's a growing business or growing industry in South Africa though. Slowly it will get there, I think. But it's very interesting. It's something I personally actually want to go into in the future.
I think it's a nice career. It's not the most strenuous. It might cause a lot of stress, but you know, at the end of the day, it's worth the reward of having a good event, successful events.
Inkulungwane yezenzakalo nemibukiso yenzeka njalo ngonyaka, kodwa noma yalezi ezinkulu zidinga ukuhlelwa ngobuchwepheshe, ungaqala ngokuhlela ethe ukubancane.
The only reason why we actually are here is because we all have a journey to take.
Siphinde sikwamukele kwesinye isiqephu esimnandi se-Making Moves. Namhlanje sibheke kulomkhakha wama-events nama-exhibition. Siyasanda-ke isibalo sosomabhizinisi abasafufusa kuwona-ke lo mkhakha kuleli lakithi. Kulamalanga sibona ama-events, ama-seminars nama-exhibition amaningi-ke ehlanganiswa yibona kosomabhizinisi abasakhula-ke kuleli lakithi. Osomabhizinisi bethu-ke banamhlanje kulolu hlelo lwethu, osomabhizinisi abasebenza kuwona-ke lo mkhakha ngokukhulu ukuzimisela nokuzethemba. Somabhizinisi wethu oqala igama lakhe uBangilizwe Yelani. Inkampani yakhe ibizwa ngokuthiwa i-ezamazwe.
Making moves.
I met Lizzie in 2008 go Pretoria.
Ke holetse ko villageng ba ibitsa ko Budibe in the northwest, and currently ke dula mo Boxback ko Budibe ke tsile ha ke na le 18, and then ka dula ko Pretoria for about 9 years. Ko gae bana ba 6, and then nna ke wa bofelo. Gona yanong re setse ka mama fela, papa o no tlhokofale ha ke ira matric, and then ke sana le bo abuti ba babedi le bo ausi ba bararo.
Ke motsebetse tabeng tsa hore ne re tsena primary rotle ne re dula gaufi. Ya go hae kwa be go le thata bro. Ya ke village like be go le gore go zamazamiwa.
In my family, most of them never have a rutega, and then never tshwara di odd jobs and stuff. So in slowly pace up ya progress mo botshelong, because le go tswa o fetsa matric go sena tšhelete gore o ye sekolong, then tshwantse o tsamaye, and then o go batla the odd jobs in order for yourself, for we sustain, and then o start a life for yourself. As a person go golela ko villaging, I think a lot of us rena le humility, and then ra khona go relate le dilo tse dintsi le batho ba bantsi, because in a village, everybody knows anyone, and then I gonna jealous like how it's an accommodation or go to tropong, how Ramatoran got me 5 rand for, 10 million. Every family was almost the same. So if Babang never took her or never shot something off it, no sign notice because Barut and Neretwan.
It's okay, in terms of a business, of a businessman, he's passionate about his dream. He never gives up. He's a good father, he's a good parent. Evolve in so many things because he wants me to understand his vision so that I give up and then I'll be that other head. Continue, you know what you want to do, you know where you want to end up.
I can give up.
Business wethu namhlanje ke yena kulomkhakha lona wama events wenza ama expo yilabo babizwa ukuthi ama educational expos ibhizinisi lakhe ke libhizi namhlanje uzohlangana nama client wakhe ke yila khona ke futhi ngizofunda kabanzi ke ngale business lakhe nale nsizwe ngilindile ayonxoxisana naye.
You guys finally arrived.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So, ke kopa o ntswalele yona o ntlhalosetse yona ka botlalo as ke received email ya gago mo.
Okay, educational roadshow started like 2012. So what we normally did was go like vacationing the villages. In the past, April, between March and April, we went to about 12 townships between Limpopo, Le Gauteng, then Le Northwest.
Work exhibition target, whereby give more about that because remember we are an institution, and then for our marketing parameters, we focus more on schools.
In terms of target, mostly modicolo my grade 11 and my grade 12s, because if battle ya matric next year, so they have to prepare for themselves. So my grade 12s are always there because our first preference came my grade 12, but then we also include my grade 11.
So Rona SPC training, as we will also be like to be part of this.
What we do is you can buy a stand, so you can put your marketing material in terms of the courses that you offer, and then bring in your student counselors.
How do you feel they can do all that for you?
One thing for sure, I looked at him, and then he's young, vibrant, of which that's what we need in this country to empower. You understand? And then the other thing is the services. The services are high, the way I do offer thing. I'm not talking about the pricing and all that. I'm talking about the service that he will be rendering with us.
Thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks. On the email, the educational exhibition, what we do is we've got about Zanin South Renali High School Grade 12 and then Renali Grade 9. So what we normally do is we send out letters to them that we're having an educational roadshow there.
Okay. No, it sounds interesting this way. But then how popular are these roadshows? Because sometimes we support things, but then for one reason or another, we can't be there ourselves physically to actually verify the success. I know you sent me 1 or 2 pictures. But
what we've done is, with regards to that, we have videos of our 5 previous events. Then normally they go, here is a proposal, like when I send the full proposal, then I will send you with the videos and everything, so you can look at it for yourself. Yes.
I need to know the strategy that you use to encourage those school leavers or the high school children to come to your events.
A week before the event happens, then we all go to the place and then with a loudspeaker into different communities, letting them know what's going to happen over that weekend.
Is there some possibility for them to get some bursaries or any financial assistance?
In terms of bursaries, ne approach EduLoan to also accompany us, but then March FNB, le ABSA, they have the study loans. So in terms of that, you have those people banking that they will help you on how to apply for their study loans. Unfortunately, EduLoan, we haven't been able to actually get the right person or Atameloron. But then in terms of these two banks, we actually found them to go with us, then by advertise their study loans and everything and all that. So that's why we encourage also the students to our events, so that or what the documents and everything that is needed to apply for the study loans.
Thank you very much, Mantatala, for Skatseni. Keep your word. A man's word is his bond. Thank you. Ngibona ukuthi siloko siphuma eindaweni lezi ezemfundiso kakhulu. Wenza ama-expo awe-education. Indaba ugxile kuwona kangaka?
Ama-expo education are very important ngani because with us asina information right. You find ingani the only thing he knows where he stays is that maybe he knows only teachers and doctors, but then there are different kind of professions. So we actually want to go out, take it to them and then let them see.
Business lakho ke njengamanje ke nibangaki ngoba phela ulawe. Ngabe khona komunye umuntu owenza omunye umsebenzi?
Yeah, ngisebenza nonkosikazi wami. We work together here. So sometimes if I'm out and then she's in the house and then she's actually receiving calls and doing all the paperwork. And then kunomunye umngani wami Lucas. So he's also our assistant masinama events and all that. And then in terms of field work, like masine event Polokwane or Remokopane, what we do is we try and find somebody who will do the groundwork on the other side.
I guess kodwa manje ngikuzwile umuphicha kuma client ipackage lakho ke othi mubuzwa ngalo ngathi khona eliqala la ko 1000 rand o 1005 lapho. Is that the going rate eyakhona kulomkhakha lokuwona wena ukuthi ungathi ke 1005 iyona mali right? Kwakumina kuzwakala ngathi imali encane.
The reason Siyenza with an affordable price is for them to actually come in and see what we actually do. Once they have seen what we can do, then we can go back and sit down and adjust the prices.
Yazi Bhuti lento njengoba ukhuluma ngakhona kuzwakala ngathi komunye umuntu angasathi nje kuphela siyazilimaza ukuthi sithole ibhizinisi ukuthi sibeke isinke etafulweni yize neze singekho happy ngento eyenzakalayo. Is that the case?
That's not necessarily the case because also Nati, we look at what we are doing at the moment. Some in terms of before we can actually do the event, we look at a feasibility study in terms of venues of Kastabunga, sound, marketing, promotions, hence sisebenzisa ama local newspapers and ama local television ama local radio stations. Sorry. The idea of the exhibition was if children bring light and happiness in people's lives, then why do we actually abuse them? So that's how the concept came about. Advertising here too, it's not actually very high because I'm a local buyers accommodate, and then some of them they call us for interviews for free. So we actually bargain with that because we see what works for us and then we use it that way.
Ukuthi ngoshanja nomsebenzi wakho kuma ungqongqoze eminyango ungene ukhuluma uphishela ama potential clients wakho. Ngiyabonga Bhuti.
Okay, ngiyabonga Bhuti. Sure.
Are you taking yourself seriously as a business? Do you have a website? Do you have business cards?
And we have a website, but then it has been closed up.
I'm concerned that you're running it hand to mouth.
Just 10 years ago, exhibition industry was dominated by few big events and management companies in the country. Kodwa ke lokhu sekuyashintsha ke njengoba sibona osomabhizinisi abaningi ke la ngaphandle benza ama career expo nama arts exhibition emaphandleni nasemalokishini. Lokhu ke khona ke sekunikeza ithemba osomabhizinisi abasafufusa abafuna ukungena kona ke lomkhakha. Ezamazwe yenye amabhizinisi ke eguqula izinto kuona ke lomkhakha.
welcome on to Making Moves. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for having me.
Nah, it's an absolute pleasure, Braka. So,
So, yeah.
How's that?
It's hard but good at times because at least she understands that in most cases I want get very strict in a way, and then like we take things outside. Yeah.
So
business,
because
yeah, then because it's amazing.
Okay, no, Andre, it's okay. So how do you make money from the business? So upatarisa the exhibitor, and then what else? How else do you make money?
Yeah, with the exhibitions, what we normally do is we go out into colleges and universities, and then patirisa as exhibitors to come and exhibit their work. And then we also look in like within the communities that are going on. If honal batho ba rekisa dijo, batho ba rekisa di soft drinks and lidilo tse batho ba ka di jang whilst they are there, we give them space, and then for a certain amount. Yeah.
How much is the most you've made from one exhibition?
The most we've made from one exhibition, it's not much. It's about 10 or 12,000, yeah. But then we don't make more than that because also the expenses, marketing, the expenses, some of the volunteers sponsor about transport.
Okay, so hang on. So you've made 12,000, yeah. Call it your best one.
Yeah.
The cost it's how against that 12,000?
Let's say between 6,000 and 7,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you taking yourself seriously as a business? Do you have a website? Do you have business cards? Do you have marketing material? If you're expecting me and other people, the market, to take you seriously, what steps are you making? Okay. Because you don't need an office for people to take you seriously. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't have offices. Yes. So, but what are you doing? How are you packaging yourself so that people are taking you seriously?
Okay. We do have a blog. It's www.ezamazwe.blogspot.com. Then we have a website, but then it has been closed up. But then, yeah, because we couldn't pay it, it was a bit too high for us. And then the business cards, yes, we do have, yeah.
Okay. What is going to take this business to the next level? Because you've got a fantastic idea. I love the business ideas. I'm concerned that you're running it hand to mouth. In fact, just hand at the moment. It's not reaching the mouth. So what's going to take it to the next level? And how long is it going to take you, and how long can you keep sustaining this business before it starts making you money and giving you an income?
I think what's going to take the business to the next level is if we get through to the municipalities. What normally happens, like there's another one that they do in Pretoria, the Department of Education normally does in Soshanguve. But then what they do is, because they are able to mobilize buses to take children from their schools into the venues. So if I get to break into those different municipalities that I'm currently working within their respective spaces, if I can break into them and they would be able to transport. Sometimes the problem is the students can't get to the places because it's issues of transport, it's issues of money. So if municipalities would help look into that, they'll book buses for all the students to come to the event because we don't charge them, then we would be able to actually create value for the colleges, for more colleges and more universities to come and invest, because they also are looking for the value in numbers. They actually looking, and if they have to drive from Pretoria or from Joburg to Tzaneen for 100 people, then it's not feasible for them. But then if they were to drive to Polokwane for 1,500 people, then there's value for their money.
Lizwe, thanks for spending time speaking to me, man. I have a lot of faith in you. I love your business. I think you're doing something special. And I'm going to hand you over to a mentor, and he's going to give you some feedback and talk you through some things that can help you improve your business.
Okay, thank you for having me.
All right, Shapotjaka.
Sure.
It's time for us to be inspired and motivated by these words in our Wisdom Nugget.
Look, I think success can be measured in lots of different ways, but for me, success is very simple. It's about thinking about something that you want to achieve and then achieving it. No matter what it is, could be like, okay, I'm going to go and get a cup of tea, deciding I want it, and then taking the action to get a cup of tea. That's success, right? So, you know, it's about getting a vision of what you want. It's about looking at the world as it is and saying, okay, this is how it is. How can I be responsible for making it better in some way? Not waiting for the government, not waiting for an employer to give you a job. It's about you creating your own success.
The biggest highlight I think is our previous event where we sold out.
Masithi sold out sidaisa amathikiti amangaki bafowethu?
1,002.
1,002.
The first one to be sold out.
Osomabhizinisi bethu abalandelayo ibhizinisi labo libizwa ngokuthiwa yi-LN Multimedia. Lezi insizwa lezi zaqala zidayisa ama-t-shirt emgwaqweni waseSoweto. Ngixoxisane nabo ukuzwa ukuthi-ke ekusukeni ukudayisa ama-t-shirt nokuthi manje sebenza ama-events bakwenza kanjani-ke lokho.
Mina igama lami nguNyiko sekaSlami-ke la endofa eMateni.
Okay, Kamala Muluyanda, Mtakajele, Somakhanda, yena wakhanda amadoda. Growing up in Netherlands was a very great experience. Ukenza ube clever growing up eKasi. You become very smart, you become very street smart.
When he was young, he was very quiet like any other child. And then I came over to high school, you know, some mischief, but not bad.
My dad passed away when I was 17 years old. That time,
well, I'm affected, if I may say. But Lena is a very strong guy. And he managed to, as he is right now, he's pulling all stops.
As a boy, I was just that boy. Shuti, bengi namahloni because bengi ngingizabo. So benga khona ukukhuluma like even if magnabantu abaningi benga khona shuti bengizibamba kwezinye izinto. I prefer ukuthi ngiyenze izinto zami esayidini.
Mawukhuluma naye ubungasho ukuthi uthukile kanti is the way angakhona.
I lost my dad mangina 5 and I remember, you know, sometimes being situations where kuyadlalwa and sometimes abanye abantwana bayopayisa kubo bababo and then I don't have mina umuntu engiyopayisa kuye and I have to go back to my mom, you know.
Khathi im-affecta manje njengoba sekakhulile ukuthi maybe kube ubabakhe bekephila kube uyayibona i-progress yakhe like izinto ezifana nalezo.
Mina ukujiva ngaqala lengoma le yangihlaya mfana. Nyiko, we went to the same high school no Nyiko, SRU High. So Nyiko mina no Nyiko were enemies.
Bekayile type le abafana abathanda amantombazana. So bengiyipantsula and we would shoot besingazwani kahle kahle.
Matric kwamele sihambe ngetransport e1 so I was bound ukuthi sizuzwane mina naye at that time.
From lapho only to find out we must get isikolo, we'd be inspired by the same person, and then we started singing Sikipa Estrateni, you know.
Nyiko's weak quality is that, for instance, when you're in a meeting, he likes to drag on unnecessary.
Ama weak qualities galuyanda. He keeps time, but he doesn't really keep time. Yabo. So unokuba late, maybe in a few minutes, so ukuthi mele speak a speech or mele senze like a meeting or whatever.
Strong qualities is that he's a very hard worker. He's a very pleasant person to work with because I know when I can send him alone in a meeting.
Umntwana bengapheli umoya. Mayehluleke la uzotrya kwenye indawo.
Uyanda yena into azenzayo kakhulu. He's good in terms of writing proposals. So when we have to work on maybe a certain project, we uhlala endlini adile ne proposal and then say discuss and then kube uye ongene computer na shaya izinto zakhona.
Kore hand hard wayetsa ustabona.
Wena kama wabala mama kama hayi naklapi.
Small. Tumusuka bro. Kuphela.
Oh okay, sharp.
I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. If I'm not gonna sleep, get ready into a particular thing. Kinani an event, and then kinani only 1 hour to sleep. But yeah, he's very determined.
Ngisepakta North ngizohlangana nosomabhizinisi bethu ababili bona ke babaphathi ke benkampani ebizwa ngokuthiwa iLN Multimedia basebenzela khona ke kulama office abashara nezinye inkampani ake singene sixoxisane nabo. Angichazeleni kabanzi ke nje ukuthi izinto enizenzayo iziphi khona umuntu osekhaya uzothi behlela bukela athi okay ngamajita ashaya lezi ngaphandle kokuthi nje ama-event kuphela.
Into senzayo everything in the multimedia space. We deal with our website, we deal with our events, we deal with our expos, we deal like with PR, communications. So as long as everything is media related, we do it.
Ngizobathi nishaye i-event nje ebinkulu kakhulu engasisuka umphansi phela yonke lento le ihlangane kanjani ukuze ngigcine nimlethile ngiletha la ekhaya.
Okay, Tony Gaskins is a speaker from the States. Tina is a company LN Multimedia. Tina into senzayo siba nama seminar nama expo. So we decided to have Tony Gaskins from Ngara simulating just to incorporate what we're doing as a company LN Multimedia. We're trying to change lives, nama seminars, nama expos, and nama conferences as well.
I have money, I have a college degree, or I have a business, but I'm still empty. I don't have love. I don't have my closest family. I don't have peace. I don't have happiness.
I'm inspired, I'm motivated, I'm inspired. Tony was on point and he always delivers, you know.
It was a lot of inspiration, a lot of wisdom, and a lot of encouraging words, really.
Yes, very impressed. I'm very, very impressed. Yeah. And this is what all this is all about. It's about how you get up and how you go and you grab what you want out of life.
Uma nihlanganisa i-event, take me through yonke i-process eyenzakalayo ngaphambi kokuthi umsebenzi uqale.
Okay. Basically, before e-event izohlangana, siqale sicabange ukuthi okay, yiphi type. So if asiyenze thina event, sishuthi sibhilene nabanye abantu. So if maybe ex-event yethu senzele omunye umuntu. So I mean, kunama steps a few whereby you need to, you know, check aqala ne-computer kit and then sazi ukuthi yiphi isithengisela bani amatikiti. And then lo muntu esimlethayo uzokhuluma like nayiphi certain age group, and then from lapho then we start, you know, thinking about ukuthi ubani sifuna ukupartnera naye.
Vele senze sure ukuthi venues allow, we have venues available for the day. Computer kit is tickets open for the day. Marketing material is a day. We've paid the speaker abroad. There's so many logistics behind it, but you know, as a team, we have a team of about 4 people. So when you go, we'll deal with a certain aspect. Mina ngizodila nama expertise wami. The next person uzodila nama expertise wakhe.
Lonkaka lo nibona ke business lenu irevenue yenu niyenza kuphi ke?
Before senze event, before sizokhuluma ne-speaker, siqale siyofuna imali kuqala. So sithathe i-idea yethu, maybe sikhulume ne-company thize, and then sifike kubo sithi sine-idea so sithanda ukuthi silethe umuntu so sithanda ukuthi nina nibe yiphathe event yethu ngendlela so mabe sipha leyo mali leyo, and then we take leyo mali leyo sibhadale ama-expenses wethu, and then imali esalayo, that's when we say ukuthi okay le he profited, because most of the time ama-ticket we don't really rely on profit kakhulu because of asiyenzeli imali. Basically we do it ukuthi mostly we just want to see people's lives change.
I met some young men, Luyanda and Nico, who formed LN Multimedia, and they were very passionate, they were very driven, they had a dream, they had a vision, and they spoke life to that dream. They put it into the atmosphere.
So when there's no event, does it mean ukuthi umsebenzi awukho ke manje?
In a year, since maybe ama event amakhulu I4. Okay. So every time we have like ama small seminars where we have young entrepreneurs sitting down and sharing ideas, and you know, so we invite young entrepreneurs, we invite people that own businesses. So every month end, like every last Sunday of a month, then we have that small, even if maybe it's a restaurant, we book a restaurant to sit, maybe abantu by 100, and then it's told which is khulume among some entrepreneurs amancane, so we need to plan prior. Yeah.
wanted to meet with you and find out, firstly, what company specializes on, and then how can we merge the two in terms of going forward? Because I know you deal with communication.
Yeah. So our role would be to come up with a plan in terms of how we're going to implement the communication. So you've got various opportunities available for Nina, whether Nifunu communicator just using strictly print media, or maybe a combination of print media and radio, or you just want a publicity drive, and it all depends on the budget at the end of the day.
So you work with different newspapers?
Yeah, well, our role is to make sure that what you have to communicate is communicated to the right people using the right platforms. I take it that you're focusing on the youth as well. And the youth konamanje batanda ukusebenzisa, your social media. So we can look at a combination of social media. We can also look at a combination of cell phone, communicating to them via their cell phones, or a print media that they actually enjoy. But once we really get the clear understanding of your target market, which I know which is zoitola ku strategy senu that you've already put together.
Ama-highlights ke enu ke bafowethu since ke niosomabhizinisi nirana leli bhizinisi athini yimaphi amakhulu enibe nawo?
The biggest highlights essentially, I think, is our previous event where we sold out without any media partner. So we did it from C2, basically, from the communications, from marketing. So I think that was the biggest highlight and challenge at the same time.
Masiti sold that days amathikiti amangaki bafowethu?
1,002.
1,002?
Yeah.
Cheapest one going at 250?
250. Expensive 1.5. The first one to be sold out.
1.5 you nje ahambile kitchen.
Second week we were sold out.
Hayi bafowethu jabula kakhulu ukuhlangana namajita aphume ekasi ayenza izinto zakhona zenzeke kwezamabhizinisi ke nami ke ngifuna ukunitshela kancane bafowethu ningimotivateile ukukhuluma nani.
Who do you regard as your competition?
I don't think we've got any competition, just to be specific there.
So bafowethu, you're like, okay, so we don't mean to brag, but we're making money.
Umkhakha wama-event management umkhakha omuhle kakhulu ke lokuthi umuntu angasebenzela kuwona. Uvibrant, energetic, innovative, uphinde futhi ube dynamic. Kodwa uma ungasebenzi ngocophelela kuwona ke lo mkhakha lo, ungagcina usuyithola ususenkingeni enkulu kakhulu. Uyabona uma uhlanganisa i-event, mningi umsebenzi ongena ke kuwona ke lo mkhakha. Okokuqala, i-event enjani lozoyenza? Uzoyenzela kuphi? Ubani ozobe ekhuluma kuyona ke lo event yakho? Unyiko noLuyanda njengamanje base studio usixoxela ukuthi bakwenza kanjani konke lokhu bona.
Who's the boss?
There's no boss.
He looked at you like, wow,
Usually I give him the platform because it's LN, so it's L, so Luyanda must take over for now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Why is it not NL?
No, because it makes more sense when it's LN.
Luyanda Nyiko, multimedia.
Okay. Yeah. Are you guys like a one-hit wonder? You brought Tony Gaskins to the country. What's next?
Definitely not a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
We bought Tony Gaskins the first time in 2013. We bought him again in 2014 this year, and we just recently did another smaller conference for about 400 people with another international speaker, Urop Hill Senior. So I assume that we're not a one-hit wonder. Definitely not.
The trend seems to be these events. Who do you regard as your competition?
I don't think we've got any competition, just to be specific there, because I don't know of any 24-year-old boys that currently are doing. There's a lot of guys that do events, but there's certain guys that do seminars. So we've tapped into a new market, and as for us being the youngest in the game, I'd say, because I don't know of any, that are age.
At our age, no, definitely not. But there are bigger guys who've been doing it for years. We've got Success Resources. We've got a whole lot of guys that've been doing it for years. But we've tapped in a space where we're bringing speakers that we relate to. So I won't bring you Richard Branson, but I'll bring you Tony Gaskins because I relate to Tony Gaskins. I relate to Urop Hill. So it brings me back to the point where we figured out that the business, and we figured out the market, and we figured out our market. No one has been tapping to it.
If you had to project 5 years from now, who are you guys going to be? What business out there reflects who you guys want to be in 5 years?
If you look at us in 5 years, I always tell Luyanda, when the reason why we do these events, it's not only to make money. Well, part of it is to make money, but most of the time, what we do is we connect before we bring the speaker. So we try sell their books before we invite them to come to SA and market them and, you know, teach. Because the only problem that we're struggling now is a lot of South Africans don't really believe in attending seminars. They're like, but I can't spend like 2,000 to just attend a speaker. No? We have a lot of people that, you know, maybe call it hate when we do an event. They're like, but I mean, who's this guy who's going to come from overseas and tell me how to live my life? Mm-hmm. But then what we do then is we sell their books, and then we become their source in South Africa to push books.
So you're building this network. You start the business off with selling content related to the speaker, build a bit of an appetite, and then bring the speaker
in.
Is this a sustainable business in the long term?
It is a sustainable business in the long term. Overseas, it's been stated as a multi-billionaire industry, and in SA, it's not there yet. So we have the guys like Leadership 2020 introducing it. We there as well introducing it, and it's going to be sustainable for us because we can now pay a speaker without having any sponsorship.
So, Bafetu, you're like, okay, so we don't mean to brag, but we're making money, which is good, because that's the purpose of being in business, or at least one of the purposes of being in business. I love what you guys have got, because you're creating events that are for yourselves, for a market that you understand. But, you know, is that a sustainable business? What are you guys doing between events? You know, how else do you intend to make sure that you don't just have one revenue stream? What's the plan?
Okay, so annually we have two big events. Like our main events are Living with Purpose events that happens in May and in around November. Between that, we have small events that we do, and we do a PR and communication that's part of LN Multimedia. So we'll get a client that, look, I'm trying to get on TV. I'm trying to get my brand out there. We've established relationship with all these media brands. Like, okay, cool. Come through, we'll push you in this. We also have books that we of our speakers. For instance, Tony Gaskins, we sell his books locally. And for the next speakers who's coming, whoever speaker is coming next, we try to put the books out there for the people where we sell DVDs. And yeah, that's what we do during the year.
All right, Bafetu, thank you for sharing insights about your business. I find you guys quite inspiring, and I'm energized by our conversation. I'm going to let you go. We're going to hook you up with a mentor by the name of Rebecca Meckett from Soft Touch Events. Give you an opportunity to just discuss your business with her, share some ideas, and then I'll chat to you guys afterwards.
Okay.
Sure.
Thanks.
Liz, we got an opportunity to sit with Mr. Buyani Zwane from Breakthrough Development to chat a little bit about his business, and we're going to get some feedback from both of them on how that discussion went. Gentlemen, welcome back. Buyani, welcome onto the show.
It's an absolute pleasure, thank you.
Awesome, good to have you. So you had the discussion.
Yes.
Did you learn anything?
Yes, I've actually learned that with my exhibition, it's actually not a need, it's a solution. In terms of what I'm doing, I've always said there's a need for people to go to school, there's a need for people to learn 1, 2, and 3. But then he helped me to actually look at it in another way, that by going into a community that doesn't have information on how to get to university, on how to get to a college, on how to obtain that bursary, actually it's actually a solution. You are bringing a solution to them. And also when you go into communities like municipalities, you go first with the community first, then you can follow the protocol and go upwards. Once you have the community behind you, then the people up there will just throw themselves in.
So it's about getting community buy-in.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Dr. Buyani, your impressions of the business, what's positive and what needs work?
Well, it's a business with lots of opportunity. As it's just indicated, it's a story about getting some buy-in. You only do buy-in because there's something that you're selling. And whatever it is that you're selling, if it is addressing a particular requirement out in the community, then it becomes something that the people are going to rally behind you. As it turns out to be, there's a lot of issues that are just needing to be addressed in terms of mental positioning. Positioning for himself as to what is it that the community are really looking for, so that he does not end up having to spend all of his own savings on the project. We're looking into situations where after about 3 exhibitions, now the money is gone. So what happens? So what becomes critical is to be able to think about it long term and say to yourself, the business is not going to be able to make money right from the beginning. Therefore, I need to invest, and that investment does not necessarily mean all of my money. Other people's money actually works for you. When you've identified that what you're doing is going to be improving their own credibility, it's going to be able to fulfill something that they themselves have been wanting to be able to do. You get a lot out of giving more than you do out of getting. So what is critical is to be able to find ways in which you can get more and more of other entrepreneurs in the area, other businesses in the area, other community leaders, to see that what you have is a solution to something that they've been crying for and been yearning for a long time. So our discussion centered around just that, the positioning it. First for himself, and then positioning it to the people who are going to be the recipient of that service.
Fantastic. My own feedback for your business is that you've got such a good idea, but you've got to become more aggressive. You've got to become more aggressive, man. You've got to get other people to buy your story. Because right now you're timid about your story. You're not sure about your story. You've got to get more aggressive about your story. You've got to brand yourself harder, man, and get people to take you more seriously. You don't need a fancy office. You need fancy marketing material that makes it look like you've got a fancy office. So good luck, and we wish you only the best.
Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen.
It's an absolute pleasure.
After the break, Luyanda and Nico are back in studio with us for feedback from their session with Rebecca Mackett.
When it comes to the financial side of the business, there's nothing in place.
Who's managing the money?
None of us have any accounting background, so kunzima.
Welcome back. Luyanda and Nico are back in studio with us for feedback with Rebecca Mackett. Rebecca, welcome on to Making Moves.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm well, thanks. And you?
Fantastic. Are you still feeling a little bit nervous?
Little bit.
Just a bit. Okay. Tell me about your time with these 2 young men.
My time with these 2 young men was quite inspiring. Listening to the story, how they tapped into an opportunity where t-shirts were sold, and taking that opportunity to the next level by creating events, and even going further to start running their own company.
And what are some of the challenges that you found in their business?
What I find in their business is that they are focused on the operational side of the business, which is excellent. But when it comes to the financial side of the business, there's nothing in place. As the money comes in, the money goes out. And I don't think they're keeping track of anything that they are doing with the money, where they can go back and say, this is how we are using the money, or implementing the changes that we want to implement for our next goal.
So, who's managing the money?
We're trying to manage it amongst ourselves. None of us have any accounting background, so kunzima.
Oh, I think our only problem is when, let's just say we just did an event, and Luyanda will tell me about this BM that he won. And, we can't make money, and then you see a BM, and then he wants to buy a BM, and I can't stop him. It's his choice.
So is that a real scenario?
That is
you did an event and he wanted a BM.
Well, he wanted it.
Did you buy it?
Well, no, I couldn't buy it. Because I had to. We had to. What we do is, as much as we are trying to get our balances in book, but we're very strict for the next time that, look, we've made a certain amount. We need to save it for our next speaker. We need to save for flights for the next speaker. We need to save for the venue.
Even if we just made like $1 million now, it's not like we can take from that $1 million. We just have to leave it till I don't know. So I don't think we have that on track currently. That's just what we're struggling with.
Rebecca, what else did you find out about the guy's business that you want to speak to them about?
I'm also thinking that I don't think they've got a development plan in place for how they want to reach the next goal and what they want out of the goal that they are currently working on. So that also leaves a gap for them not to be focused when it comes to getting the money in, on how to spend the money. So I think that's also something that they need to look at.
Thank you very much for being on the show. Just parting words. Nico, anything from you? Anything that a specific pointer that you're walking away with from your experience on making moves?
I think what's important for a business is to get all the formal, papers together in terms of the finances, the BE certificates, getting an accountant and stuff. Because, I think we moved quick and just wanted to do the operations, as she said. We forgot about putting everything like in detail, So. And then manje, it comes back to us, then we need to now, because there's money coming in, but we can't use the money, we can't, manage the money very well.
Rebecca, Luyanda, Nico, thank you so much for being on Making Moves. It was awesome. I'm inspired, and I love the work that you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What we've learned today is that it takes a lot of effort to start a business, let alone develop and grow it. You have to be prepared to face some obstacles along the way to make it work. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week. Sharp, sharp.
What I've learned is, I think from Mr. Zwane, I've realized that within the clarity of the value that you bring within a customer's business, that's what I need to be clear on. And then with regards to what Pepsi said about me being too timid, not being very aggressive into also running the business. So I think I've gotten that, and then I can see where I was lacking, and then I will channel it into that.
Well, my experience on being on Making Moves was very informative, I say, because I've learned, a few things that some things I knew, but I've picked up on other important stuff that I need to imply, like in terms of the basics of, having a company and looking at, your financials and stuff.
The specifics that we've learned, for instance, is that we just need to get our taxes in order, because we don't want 5 years from now that the taxman is behind us, and it's not a good thing when they repossess our cars and stuff because of something we could have done 5 years ago. So we've learned that get your taxes in order, get your paperwork in order, get your books in order, in every little single detail that you do, and the money you spend in the company, you need to jot it down.